William Dorsett, with time ceded by Pat Moran, followed by Gary Fott.
Can we bring it up a bit? Size good. Okay. All right. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I don't know how to put this into words. I had a really good speech, but I don't have enough time to actually say it, so I want to cut all the fat. I think everyone's looking at free speech and expressive activities in the wrong way, because I keep hearing over and over people say that expressive activities is a lesser form of free speech. Yet, before we could speak, when we were cave people or nomads in the forest, we were drawing. We were making music on wooden drums. We were creating crafts to drink from and to wear. And everything that we did before we could speak was creative in some form or fashion. It was expressive. Art in itself has been synonymous with religion and philosophy and science and the scientific method. You can take a painting and you can drive someone to extreme bliss, or you can send them to war with that same creative power. You can create a message with poetry that would take someone to tears or bring them to intimacy. You can take music and create a vibe that makes someone go from up here to down here and back up here within seconds. All means of communication. Yet art and music and First Amendment rights are considered, for some reason, by various people in this group to be a secondary form of free speech. You're saying, hey, you've got to be in these spaces, and it's got to be this way. And you're saying that it's the most reasonable thing that you know of. But I know different, because I've experienced this for almost 2 decades. I've experienced when you had a permit and we were still allowed to pretty much set up wherever we wanted to. I experienced 805 before the pandemic. We were allowed to set up pretty much wherever we wanted to. There wasn't no heavy-handed enforcement. You look at Cambridge, Massachusetts, their enforcement is made by groups of artists. And the violation fine is $25. $25, it doesn't scare people. It doesn't make them afraid and feel like you're trampling on their First Amendment rights. It lets them know, hey, they're stepping over the line, but it's not something that's unattainable for them. $1,000, like the ticket I got over the weekend, it's unattainable for someone like me. Like, it's just ruining people like me's lives. And the way y'all are doing things in a city that is right now one of the most expensive cities in the country to live, to people who are the poorest people in the country, just hurts. It stings. It's like you're punching us in the face. You're punching us in the gut. And so when some of us act in a fight or flight means, it's because we're scared. We are being pushed back. We're being told we can only do it this way or that way, when we know how things work for us. We know where we work best. We know, like, I know 10 by 20 is what works best for my needs as far as an artist. I know some guitarists that 5 by 10 is plenty. I know magicians that need 10 by 20 as well to be able to corral their crowds. Space should be something that is, depending on the needs of the individual, because that's what we are. We're individuals. We're not one complete entity. And I want you to consider that art and music and all these things have been something as part of our speech since before we could speak. And once you consider, why is everybody treating it as a secondary thing in free speech? Thank you for your time.
We have Gary Fott.